Welcome to Money Talk with Tiff, a podcast where we discuss everything money from tips and tricks to current events. Follow me on my journey to become debt-free and meet other cool people along the way. I am your host, Tiffany Grant. Now let's talk money. Hey everyone. So today we have a guest episode. Today I have Stephanie Perry. She is the creator of Vaycarious.com, and that's VAYCARIOUS.com. Her story is pretty interesting because at age 41, she quit her job as a hospital pharmacy technician to travel the world for a year on her savings. So she visited 12 countries, 12 in 12 months, all on just $1,200 per month. What? Now she's a year-round house sitter and pet sitter who helps other women take a career break on a budget. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hi, Tiffany. I'm great. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
I'm so excited to have you. I know we met on Twitter because I was like, this just sounds so interesting. Can you be on, please?
Yep. And I was like, I'm there.
Right. So what made you decide to quit your pharmacy technician job and just go for it, just being a nomad?
A couple of things happened. I took a vacation with my parents. My mom had just retired and she was 65, I think. And we took a vacation together to LA and we had fun. But mobility starts to become an issue. His hip hurts, her knee hurts. They can't do this, they can't do that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, wait a minute, this whole working until you retire and then travel idea is just a scam. I'm like, I want to do it now. I want to be able to do it while I can enjoy it, while my body is cooperative. And so I was like, let's see. So I thought at first, 1 year is a good amount of time, and then I'll just go back to work and everything will be back to normal. But it didn't really happen that way.
Right. So did you already save up all of the money you needed to, survive for a year and then you did it?
Yes, I saved up $14,000 because at the time I had no way to make money online. This was 2015 and so I had to save up the money. I did some Google research and I found out that a lot of travel bloggers and budget travelers spend about $40 a day in travel once they get to, these inexpensive areas like Southeast Asia or Central America. So I decided that I would go to Thailand and Vietnam and the Philippines and Indonesia and all that and, use that budget of $40 a day or $1,200 a month. And so I saved all that before I left.
That is so awesome. Now, how do you find, so if anybody was interested in pursuing this, just like you did, what would you, how would they start? Do you have any courses available or what would you recommend where people can just hop into it like you did?
I do have, there are a couple of women out here right now who are really preaching the gospel of take a year off, take a gap year, a sabbatical, a career break. So my blog is Vaycarious.com. Rashida Doe from she'tasontheloose.com also has a lot of helpful information on how to get started. So I do have, if you go to Vaycarious.com, you'll see I do have a post on the first 3 steps to take, and there's a little mini workbook. I think that the best way to for me anyway, the best way to get started is to figure out why you want to do it and what kind of activity you want to do for this year. Is it just about travel? Do you want to go do some yoga retreats? Do you want to do, whatever? Are you going to take this year and write a book and you need to find a quiet place, an inexpensive, quiet place to go write for a year or for a few months or, so start with what your goal is and then work from there. Then it's easier to find out what your budget will be because your location pretty much determines how much you're going to need, how much money you're going to need. And then I also think it's important to tie in your year. Like if you're taking a sabbatical or a gap year, it's important to tie it into some things that are important to you. So if you want to go visit some certain music festivals, get those dates and then you'll have a go date because a lot of people have the idea to do it and then it just stays an idea. But once you can set a firm date, maybe it's your 40th birthday or, for me, September is a big year. September is a month for me where I always make changes. If I look back at my resume, I've pretty much changed jobs every every time I've had a new job, it's been in September.
Mm.
September is just the time, it's back to school season and we start thinking about the next, it's time to start getting ready for the next year. So if you tie in your go date to an actual date, some date that's significant to you, makes it easier. So yes, if you go to vicarious.com, you'll see I have a post on the first steps to take if this interests you, because I really want people to take it from, oh, that's a cool idea, I wish I had done that, to I'm doing it, I'm planning it, I'm working on it.
Exactly. And, I live by the quote, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people listening, they may be scared to do it. I know I would be, yes. But that's partly because I have 2 boys. Now, if I didn't have my kids, I would definitely take that grown-up gap year. But that shouldn't even be a deterrence, because I was listening to a podcast, The Thought Card, actually Danielle's podcast, and she had a lady on there where she was a single mom with a son, and she was traveling just like you. So
that's
I'm
right.
Like, yeah, it's possible. It's just taking that leap.
Yeah, and it's okay to be afraid to do it. I was terrified. I thought, I have these big, here are the main problems, right? I think my fears were either when I come back, I'm not going to be able to get a job, which was totally false. I knew that. Like, I was a certified hospital pharmacy technician who liked to work night shift. Every hospital wants me.
Right.
And so I knew, but that was a fear. What if I don't get my job back? And I actually got hired back by the same job. I ended up going to a different hospital, but they actually hired me back. They were glad to welcome me back. But I was also afraid of what if I blow through the money? And I came home with $30-something, not exaggerating. I came home with 30. So I did basically blow through the money. It took a year, but I did go through the money. And I had some ways to, by the time the year was over, I had some ways to make the travel a lot less expensive. But, the things that I was afraid of either didn't happen or they did happen, and they were nowhere near as bad as I thought. So it's okay to be afraid. It's normal to be afraid to take a big leap or make a big change, but that's not the reason to not do it.
Exactly. And I'm actually doing a quick, calculation. So you said you had 14,000 and you were able to travel on that. That's $1,200 a month. Yes. And if you do the math on that, that's only $600 every 2 weeks, which would be $7.50 an hour. Okay. Did y'all hear that? So you can travel, that just blows my mind, because when you throw out big numbers, for instance the 14,000, people are like, oh my gosh, I would never be able to do that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you break it down to, okay, that's $7.50 an hour for a 40-hour work week. Can I do that? Absolutely. That's minimum wage. Absolutely you could do it. So I just like to put things in perspective. Even though it sounds like a lot, it's really not. And it blows my mind that you were able to do all of that with that amount of money and travel to 12 different countries. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I need to be out there.
Some of these places are so inexpensive. In Vietnam, I got a room in a house, so they had subdivided their home into apartments, but with a joint kitchen, shared kitchen, but everyone had a room and a bathroom. And I paid $180 for the full month. And it was a new construction, new place, very beautiful, and I had a little mini fridge in my room. And that included the bicycle, so I could get around town because I was in between the beach and the old town. $180 for the whole month.
Wow.
So some of these places are amazingly cheap, and Vietnam is also beautiful. It's one of my favorite countries. So, and the food is wonderful.
And that was actually going to be my next question. So would you say Vietnam was your favorite place to visit, or?
I have 2. Okay. So Vietnam is my favorite place in terms of being just super foreign, exotic. Everything in Vietnam is so different. Everything is a challenge. Nothing, you can't even read in Vietnam, So, everything is just harder. And because of that, it's one of my favorite places. I travel for good weather because I'm boycotting wintertime. And I travel for I need good weather, a low cost of living, and good food. And Vietnam hits all of those. Plus, there's a good expat community of Americans and Black women who are there. So you can make friends there. And Vietnam was wonderful. But Portugal is a place where I would think about staying long term. Portugal is a little less foreign, it's more recognizable. You can, even if you don't speak Portuguese, you can make some stuff out. And so it's a little less of a challenge, but beautiful beaches, beautiful weather, low cost of living, especially for Europe, nice, friendly people. So I have two. And also, like, even though you asked me for one, also in the last 2 years, I spent almost a full year in Mexico. We overlook Mexico because it's so close. Mm-hmm. But it's been fantastic for me. So,
and speaking of, you're in Mexico right now, house sitting, right?
I am. I house sit. That's how I survive now. So I told you that when I left, I didn't have a way to make money. So now I house sit so that I don't have to pay for a place to stay. And I do some freelance writing so that I can eat, Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm house sitting. I'm pet sitting in Mexico. So I apologize if y'all hear barking. But it's been a fantastic way to continue to travel without money.
Right.
A lot of income.
Exactly. And is it that you just have to get your name out there as a house sitter, as a pet sitter, and then that's how people find you? Or do you actively sought out people that need these services?
There are large house sitting sites out there that match house sitters and people in need. So I started with Trusted House Sitters, trustedhousesitters.com, and got started. Yeah, and that's how I got started. I house sat for a couple years through them exclusively, and now I book through word of mouth. So now I have, so with Trusted House Sitters, you just get free accommodation. If you book through word of mouth, you can do some negotiation to get, if you want to get a little per diem, a little pay as well. So yes, if you can get to an area where there are a lot of people who need house sitters, which is, areas where you have a lot of transplants, or expats, people who have moved from their home to a new place. If you can get to an area like that and then get your name out there, it's very easy. So that's how I've been in Mexico. Last year, I spent 6 months in Mexico, and I only had one house sit booked for 1 month when I got here. And through word of mouth, I booked up 6 months straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, if you ever need someone to come keep you company, please let me know. I fit in a suitcase and
my mom just came to visit me. She loves it now. So she just came to visit me down here too. People, yeah. So house sitter, it's easy to make friends when you're a house sitter.
Right. And it's just amazing to me because it's something that you would never think about. Like, locally people they talk about Airbnb and things like that, but you never think about, I wonder if I just go watch this person's house while they go on vacation, I can stay at this exotic location and I don't have to pay for any accommodations.
I highly recommend it. I feel like a genius.
You are like, you should see my face right now. My mind is like blown because I'm like, I don't believe like all this time, like getting Airbnbs and stuff when I can just house sit somebody's house and bam, no money out of pocket.
No money out of pocket. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
That is so cool. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for being on the show. So if people want to learn more about you, one more thing, because this is super exciting and it just happened the other day. Stephanie was actually, one of her pictures was mentioned in an article on essence.com. Like, I'm super excited. When I saw that news come across, I was like, oh my gosh, look at her go.
I may or may not have done laps around the room and high-fived myself. Perhaps.
And you know what? The picture was awesome. It was, what was
Siem
it?
Reap in Cambodia.
Yes. So tell me a little bit more about that trip because the picture looks really good and interesting.
Siem Reap is just one of those places that I had no idea existed. And then when I started planning, taking that gap year, I started looking at, where do I go when I get to Southeast Asia? What is there to do? And boom, I saw because I'm hooked on Instagram and Pinterest. So they basically are my trip planners. And boom, I saw the pictures of Siem Reap. It's a temple complex. They're temples that were built starting in the 12th century. Beautiful stone buildings. And right now, you can just get into town and have someone drive you out to the temple complex and explore and walk around and go in and walk through these buildings that are these temples that are, from the 12th century. It's amazing. And so I did set up my tripod and I did do a selfie shoot out there and came away with some beautiful pictures. And it's an amazing place to go. It's very, of course, it's super historical, but it's just very enlightening. And so that was a beautiful trip. And then my pictures are beautiful as well.
Right. Right. And that was actually going to be my next question. Like, how do you get these awesome pictures when you travel by yourself? But like you said, you have a tripod. It just goes with you wherever you go. I need to start doing that.
Yeah. And I'm talking about a little tiny iPhone tripod, not a big old tripod, not a real phone. I mean, not a real camera, just a little Gorilla Pod for my iPhone and a little Bluetooth timer. And go. Because you can always ask people, the best way to get someone to take your picture is find someone who looks like they're doing it for the gram and ask them, seriously, because they're directing, you can tell, right? They're directing, finding the light, and ask them to take your picture. But it's hard to find those people sometimes. And so you just end up with someone who cut your head off in the picture and they don't know what they're doing. So take that tripod because you don't want to miss it. You want to come away with pictures. I believe in traveling for the sake of just fun and beauty. And you want to come away with pictures of yourself in these beautiful places. Yeah. So the mini tripod and the Bluetooth remote are my best tips.
I am going on Amazon today and purchasing those items because there's been a lot of places I've gone. I'm like, dang, this is all the pictures I have from that. I can't fully re-experience the experience because I don't have enough pictures.
That's right.
But anyway, so now that I got that out the way, because I was super excited about that, and I'll have that link in the show notes. But Stephanie, where can people find you? How can they follow you if they're interested in learning more?
Come over to vicarious.com. That's my website. I have a great quiz on could you quit your job and travel? Is it a good time for you? And I have House Sitter School coming up, so you can sign up and get the email when House Sitter School is ready to go. If you want to get booked for your first house sit, go travel with free accommodation. So come on over to vicarious.com. If you like to watch your info instead of read your info, I also have a YouTube channel, and it's just youtube.com/Stephanie Perry. And that's where everything is in video. So if you want to read it, come over to the blog. If you want to watch it, go over to YouTube.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much again, Stephanie. You are awesome and an inspiration. And hopefully one of my listeners, somebody, goes on a grown-up gap year and they send me pictures, and it may even be me. No.
I hope so. You can do it.
Right. But anyway, thank you so much, Stephanie. I'll have all her links in the show notes, so definitely check them out. And I'm so glad you came on.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Money Talk with Tiff podcast. For free resources and materials, head over to moneytalkwitht.com. And while you're there, why not sign up for our newsletter so you'll never miss an episode? Talk to you soon.